Yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to Computer Music Academy's weekly homework podcast. I am your host, Tashira Say. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Welcome to week number 52. And before we get into this week, shout out to our man in Tampa, Gold 007 for that intro. Definitely, Bill is doing his thing at CMA as far as just absorbing everything that we do or we speak about or anything he sees me talk about. And he was already a very talented artist, and he's incorporating all of the rest of this stuff and just killing it. So shout out to him. Shout out to you for watching and listening today. We have, in my opinion, I think this is going to be a very, very good show. What we're doing is, if you have watched a nice amount of the podcast, you know one of my pet peeves is very thin or weak sounds. And factory sounds kind of falls in that category. Simply because factory sounds are there in most cases, not all, in most cases, are just to give you something along with whatever hardware or software piece that you bought. And a lot of people use presets, factory sounds, and some of them are very good. Some of them are not. And one thing I really I don't like is when people use that kind of stuff and they don't understand that they could actually do more with it. So what I did is actually, ahead of this assignment, I created a few tutorials showing people how to stack drums and layer instruments in Ableton Live and Maschine. Simply because most of our people at CMA are either Maschine or Ableton Live. Some of us are both. But we still also have people who use FL Studio and Cubase and Reason, Acid. So, there's a great variety. But basically, this is called stacks and layers. And the whole purpose of it is to get you to experiment with, I guess you could say, really basic sound design. What you had to do is actually at least have at least 2 layers on each instrument you use, on each drum, kick, snare, hi-hat, everything, and make a track using that. And we actually have 6 submissions this week that I'm very eager to get to. So let's get it popping with our man, B. Withers, aka Urban Audio Legend. Let's go. doesn't come through as often as he would like to, but when he comes through, he comes through. Man, P. Withers returns. Oh boy, that was nice. Man, and I'm sitting there listening to it. I hear it all. I hear every single instrument. Yeah, it's layered. It's nice and fat. I especially like the usage of that Ronnie Law's Friends and Strangers sample. That is dope. Overall, that's just a really, really dope track. One of his best, if you ask me. And I've listened to a nice amount of B's tracks over the years. But man, I liked everything about that. I like the groove, the tempo. I like the different breakdowns and sections that he had. Yeah, excellent job, my man. All right, moving on to our man in Tampa, Gold 007. Let's see what he has. Gold 007 doing his thing. Man, that was dope. First off, I love the way Bill is using what I will consider old school drums lately, like his last couple of submissions, and I think the intro had it too, using like the older drum machine type drums, which the older drum machine drums were emulating analog drums, but they had a really nice sound and style to them. Anyhow, I liked everything about that track. Everything. It had a really, really nice feel to it. I liked what I did here, what I was stacked and layered. You know, definitely the drums were stacked, and definitely like the synths and stuff like that was stacked. Yeah, I was appreciating that. And also, when Bill actually throws the live guitar in there, just takes the tracks from here to here. Seriously, the tracks are already pretty good, and then he just, whoa, man. So excellent job, my man. All right, moving on to Necromantis. Let's see what he has. Necro Mantis doing his thing. Man, I likes that. You know what? Necro is, everybody has their own story, their own special case, I guess. And knowing that Necro comes from a rock and metal background, doing, being in those types of bands for years, and now he's getting more into, I guess you could say, electronic type music. And you can definitely see, same thing with Bill. You can definitely see and hear that influence, or that knowledge of what they used to do in those bands, or when they created music before. Now they implement that, and it sounds so dope. And now that Necro, he has been really trying to find himself, where he's going to be as a musician or a producer. And he's getting closer and closer to that, and he's getting more comfortable with what he's doing. One reason I know that, he's not sending as many notes as he used to before, saying, I don't know, or this is this, I'm not sure. I'm not getting a lot of that now. Now it's like, yeah, here's the joint. This is what I did. Hope you enjoy it. And I am. I love everything he did with that. And if you're watching the video podcast, when I was pointing, that's that moment that I realized you can really hear the stacks and the layers. But that at that moment when the drums dropped out, I can really hear the layering in that synth and everything that he was using in that part. And I liked it all. I really do. Another thing that I really picked up on is when I made the Ableton tutorials of how to stack and layer. I showed you how you can actually use delays and reverbs in there. And I actually see that he used that. I could tell he used the simple delay. So shout out for all of that, my man. All right, moving on to a gentleman we haven't heard from in a couple of weeks. Crooked Mystery Jazz is back. Let's see what he has. One third of the UK contingent, Crooked Mystery Jazz, JK. Yeah, I likes that. I like that. That is what I want to hear from Jazz. He brings it. He has as pretty much everybody has their own style, and as you should. And JK, when you hear a JK track, it's a JK track, even though every song he does not sound the same, if that makes sense. But man, I liked everything about that. I definitely heard some stacking on the drums, and definitely with the synths, that swell synths that he had. Oh boy, yeah. And what's so crazy is before the beat even kicked in, and I'm listening to the hi hat as it's kind of counting off, and I can hear like 2 or 3 hats in that one hi hat. So yeah, I definitely appreciate everything that happened in that track. Excellent job, my man. All right, moving on to our man from Detroit, Double Negative, back to do his thing. Let's get it in.
Double negative.
Representing Detroit, Double Negative doing his thing. Yeah, another heater. What's similar? It's a couple things that's very similar about me and Double Negative. One, we're around the same age, so even though we're from the same city, we're definitely from the same school, and I mean that as far as the type of music that we listened to coming up, and the type of sound or music that we want people to hear. We know what we want to hear, and we're going to deliver that based on what we learn coming up as musicians, or even just as fans. But I really like Negative because once again he reminds me of myself, where he's really dope on the samples and chops and flips and stuff like that, but he's also really good on the organic stuff, and I like that a lot. I definitely heard some stacks and layers as far as the instruments. Not really sure about the drums, but that's totally fine. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Everything sounded nice and full and fat. Yeah, excellent job, my man. And now moving on to a gentleman we have not heard from in probably a good month, maybe. And when he comes through, he does his thing. Reason why we haven't heard from him is because he was partaking of the World Cup. And I'm just now finding out that people take the World Cup very seriously. Very. And he's one of those people. So he's back. Let's see what he has for this week. Stevan G. Our man in Potsdam, Stevan G, the man. Stevan does his thing. I don't need to say it anymore. If you watch this podcast, even if you've only watched 1 or 2 episodes, you know Stevan G is serious. And when he comes through with a track, it's going to bang. Period. Man, I enjoyed that. I really enjoy the step or pattern that he used. That is dope. And you know, Stevan is I guess you could say he's old school, even though he's not really old school, but he's been making dance music for a while. And you can tell the experience that he has just when you listen to his tracks, he makes today. You can tell what he's been through, what he's learned in those many years of making that kind of music, and it shines through. But I loved everything about that track. Definitely heard the layers, definitely heard some stacking on the drums. He brought it, as usual. If he didn't bring it, we would let him know. Trust me. I would, Necro would, CMJ would, B Withers, and everybody else in CMA would let this dude know if he did not bring it. So he makes sure that when he brings it, he brings it. But yeah, excellent job to Stevan, Double Negative, Crooked Mystery Jazz, Necromantis, Gold 007, and B Withers, aka Urban Audio Legend. Hopefully, listening to this gave you a little inspiration of what you can do with your own music. Simply because, as I said before, you don't have to always use just the regular out-of-the-box sounds. Do something with them. And we're going to get more into, sound design or just basically creating your own sounds and getting more dynamic, more experimental stuff at CMA. But if you would like to check out the tutorials that I created, I'm going to leave some links for you. And you can go right to them, check them out, and implement that stuff into your own music. And that is it. Other than the fact, what should I say? Oh, if you want to join us, come on over. If you want to join us. I screwed that up. Take it back. If you'd like to be a part of what we do, come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. It's that simple. Thank you for watching and listening this week. I am done, and I will talk to you next time. See ya.